Our organization is actually very different from other organizations. We don't specifically deal with one particular waste. We are a research-based organization. So what we do is mostly we research on like the types of waste, the quantity, and what are the conditions. So you can sort of say that we, in one way, deal with all the waste. Not in like collecting in all, but understanding and like trying to making the database. So mostly based on our research, in the case of Dimapur, you can say 30 to 40% will be salvaged by the households and the sanitation workers. Rest ends up in the dump site. So again, coming back to that, like since we are not dealing with the waste directly, what we are trying to do is like from our research, we're trying to show that this is the waste that is coming out from the households. Example from the office also. You have waste which is filled with tobacco spit. All this cannot be segregated. And this, when you mix with the other types of waste like plastic, plastic has chemicals, then you'll have e-waste. So all of this waste mixed together, the leachate is forming, right? And this is not good for the environment. And you're sending that to the dump site or you're sending it to your surroundings. So for us, what we're trying to do is through our work, we're trying to raise this issue that source segregation is necessary. It should start everywhere. So for tobacco users, initially like the government said like, because we were all using plastic, so instead of that they said, why not pepper at least line? But the thing is like pepper doesn't absorb the liquid really fast. So the only other solution we can say is you use sand or earth. That absorbs. So you can see there are other like for spit it's coming out like in the market. There's this I would say there's only chemicals, but you're saying it's biodegradable, which absorbs the spit really fast. But I think we recommend the natural one, which is tona parde mati thakibo palu thakibo etu halibi 2 weeks pe julawole parbo. Again parde filabe because Mother Earth will do the treatment for you. It starts with waste management or waste there. What the public and we all need to understand is the earlier waste and the waste that we're producing now is very different. We are dealing with modern waste, which is very complex. Even plastic has so many different types, right? So for that, we need source segregation. So, korwe segregate crew like na idu nathakile to one, even with the plant, first of all, we would always say at least baseline data. Baseline research they will be able to see like whether it's improving or not. They also need to know really like current data of the households because you need to have some revenue generation. So they should know like so in one way with like 40 more once of small. So and our people are like segregation data. It's really difficult for us to adopt that habit. So what we say, and I think is like with any municipal is first start small. Start with one particular ward, make it a model ward, and then they can replicate that. And again, stakeholders has to be involved. They need to know what is waste management. So when you make rules also, rules and regulations implement rule na stakeholders so they have to sit together and let the people understand common person like why source segregation is required, why so small so awareness. Truth be told, our public participation is very less compared to other states also. Example for this event, we could hardly do one. In other, it's from May 26 to June 5. They're doing series. That voluntary participation is not there. So for waste management, it has to come voluntary. So it's a little, yes, we still are yet to reach, but again, we believe that it can start with the schools. That's why most time, though, I think some organizations, they are starting with schools because they have realized that maybe start with the younger generation.
To be honest, all types of waste when it comes to collection, today was basically dry. Majority of it was dry. There was no organic, there was no food stuff, barely any if there even was. Majority of waste is plastics, a lot of plastics. Very few metals. Metals you end up collecting very little because there's already a very unorganized sector where your rack pickers pick up metals and they sell themselves for a profit. So metals is very little. So that would be the genre of trash that we're collecting. A lot of plastics, organic wherever is possible, which we turn into fertilizer, into mole. Yeah, there is a lot of policies that need to be made for the state. I do believe that a roadmap needs to be created, and roadmap is created with policies. You need to have policies in place. Now, once you have policies in place, then laws can be placed on top of that. Once laws are in place, fines can be placed when people break laws. So, at the crunch of the hour, the most important thing is policy. Do believe Nagaland needs a very strong policy when it comes to waste management. I do believe, from what I've heard, it is under review. They are building up the policy. It's because we haven't had a very strong municipal backing in the state for the past so many years because of the election issue. But now that there is municipal bodies all over Nagaland, I'm sure the think tanks are going to sit and they will create policies which will work in bettering the environment in Nagaland in the future. Waste, at the current state, there is Kuda that deals with waste, that recycles waste, of course, at a very small scale, not at a large scale where you can handle for the entirety of Nagaland. But all the recyclables that are collected are further sold to kabriwalas, who further send it to companies, mostly factories in Assam, that are used to recycle plastics into pellets, which are reused in a different industry. Metals, again, same thing, are sent to factories in Assam that use it for recycling metals. Inert waste is sent to the dumping grounds that is in Burma camp and Chumu. That inert is your low grade, basically your single use plastics that you can't really do much about, which for further processing at the sites. Alternative is to think local, is to use local products, is to use recyclable products. So Hornbill actually does a great job with the morungs, especially about their utensils, their cutlery, their packaging products. They use homegrown Naga, locally produced organic stuff, which of course is biodegradable very easily. So one that would be a great way, whether we have a segregation unit or we don't have a segregation unit, that would be a great way to reduce waste in Nagaland. First things first, segregation. I do believe some drives need to be done. IECs where information, where households are being explained about segregation, they are showcased. So one of the big reasons what we've done is so that kids could come, students could come and see what is happening with the waste. As you can see, waste, there's nothing happening. People are just throwing it around. As you can see, we have come and picked it up. Nothing is being done with the waste. So IEC information is awareness creation is one of the most important things. I think is the first step. So that's something the DMC should go into. Then, of course, the second step is teaching how to segregate from the households. Once you segregate from the households, another step is collection. Collection needs to be done on a segregated unit. So what's happening in Nagaland is also our vehicles are non-segregated. We just have one dump site where all the trash is throwing into the vehicles. Whereas in other more responsible areas, you'll see the vehicles have segregated units where you have your biodegradables, your non-biodegradables, your recyclables, your inert, your hazardous waste, your e-waste, all in one vehicle. So if I was a household and I'm segregating from the house and I come to the vehicle, I know where to put the proper trash into the proper compartment, and from there, of course, the vehicle goes and is just further taken care of in the unit, either sent for further recycling or handled in the state itself. So that's something I do believe, that supply chain, if it's fixed through the municipals, our problem will be so much easier.